I like our standard bearers there, like guards get the bridge. None shall pass. All shall pass.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
This is a historic day for all Oklahomans. Perhaps I would have been better off to begin my remarks. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. When we gathered in this very same spot in June of this year, not one of us imagined that things would move so quickly for the time of equality for lesbians, gay men, bisexual, and transgender Oklahomans. Today, we have seen unfailingly that we are no longer considered second-class citizens in the state that we call home.
Amen.
One of the things that has inspired me today, perhaps more than anything else, we know we have many couples in our community who have been together for years, some of them for decades, just waiting for the arrival of this day. The outpouring that we have seen from them with their emotions is strong, and it's also what we expected. But I have been overwhelmed by the comments and the tears of young people in our community who recognize today that this is one battle that they will not have to fight because they truly are equal Oklahomans.
Amen.
If you were married in another state and you have a legal marriage from a state that already allowed marriage equality, you don't need to get married again in Oklahoma because whether the governor likes it or not, you are married in Oklahoma. It's very, very sad to me that the highest person in our state government did not join with us in celebrating today. Instead, she hearkened back to, oh, our state's rights have been trampled on, the people's will is being rejected, and if you listen carefully, it's not hard to imagine those very same words echoing from George Wallace just a few decades ago.
That's right.
We are here today not at the finish line. We are far from finished. First of all, we have brothers and sisters throughout the nation who still live in states where they cannot be legally married. Beyond that, though, we have issues to deal with, each of us and all of us collectively. As long as you can be fired from your job in the state of Oklahoma, we are not finished.
That's right. That's right.
As long as a same-gender couple or an individual can be denied housing based on their sexual orientation, we are far from finished.
Right.
As long as we have seniors in our community who have been out and proud for many decades, but feel that they have to step back into the closet in their old age so that they won't be harmed by a healthcare worker, we are far from finished.
Right.
But those are issues to deal with another day. This day, we celebrate a monumental victory by 4 courageous women who stood up to the state and said, I want to get married. But they will be the first to tell you that they did not do this on their own. It took a collective effort of every nickel, every phone call, every gathering of support, just like we see here tonight, to make things move forward. And they accomplished something for all of us, and all of us this day are accomplishing something so that our children and grandchildren might be able to live in a country that truly values liberty and justice for all. clerk's office today, and I ran into a straight couple that, honest to goodness, looked like they had just been dropped into the place from Mars. They were stunned. They said, "What's going on?" They told us there's never a wait. And as you look down the hall, lining both sides of that hall. Some of us are married. Some of us will be married right here in this place tonight. We have clergy standing by to perform those marriages. Others of us will choose not to be married. But how wonderful is it that it's our choice to make and not the state legislature? I'm going to introduce a friend of mine, someone that I met recently, and on many things we are very much divided on our political stance, but on this one, a matter of basic civil liberties, we absolutely agree. It's my privilege to welcome Adam Bates.
I hadn't planned on giving a speech today. I should acknowledge that I'm a Republican, and I met Scott a few weeks ago, and I represent a group of libertarians and liberty activists within the Republican Party that are doing what we can to restore the Republican Party and really embrace this small government individual freedom idea. And Scott was gracious enough to come and speak with our group a few weeks ago, and I told him I wanted to be more involved. It's time for the Republican Party to not be represented by Mary Fallon and James Langford. As Scott mentioned today, Mary Fallon and James Langford both said that these are activist judges and they're overturning the will of the people. A true Republican, a true small government conservative understands that the Constitution trumps the will of the people. The reason we have a Constitution is so that authoritarians and bigots, through their elected representatives in the government, cannot take rights away from individuals.
That's right! That's right!
The freedom to marry is a fundamental right. A lot of us would prefer that the government step out of marriage altogether and not issue the practice at all. But as long as the government is going to license marriages, it must license all marriages without arbitrary discrimination against people simply because the governor and the legislature don't like these people or are bigoted against them. I think regardless of Republican, Democrat, Independent, we all have the same enemies in this state. It's aggression, it's violence, it's hate, it's ignorance. And it doesn't matter what party you're a part of, it doesn't matter what religion or race you are. And I think I'm here to say that there's a fight going on in the Republican Party, and there's a fight going on in this state. Whether you're gay, and it's easy to say this is a win for all Oklahomans today, but in truth, this is a win for a certain subset of Oklahomans. I've never been punished for my love. I've never been persecuted because of who I'm attracted to. This is a huge victory for gay Oklahomans, but there are, as Scott mentioned, there are issues still outstanding for them. There are issues for immigrants. There are issues for, especially in the GOP with the Muslim community lately. And I'd just like to say, this is a big win today, but the fight's not over. And we're going to have to keep pressing, we're going to have to keep fighting, and we're going to keep winning. Thank you.
Right on!
We've had lots of calls here at the Cimarron Alliance Equality Center today saying thank you. And we'll accept a portion of that because we have worked very closely with and supported the defendants in this case, educating Oklahomans about the need for marriage equality. But it didn't begin here. It didn't begin a few years ago. This work began a very long time ago, and today we remember those who are no longer with us, who planted the seeds for equality in our community. And we thank them for all that they've done. And there is one person that is with us, very much so, a staunch supporter of equality for all people. He didn't know he was going to speak, but I'm going to ask him to say a few words. My friend and someone I admire greatly, Attorney Richard Ogden.
I think that at times like these, you hearken to other great people who have spoken. And one of those people on such an occasion, many years ago, was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "Let freedom ring. Let it ring from coast to coast." And that's what we're experiencing today. It's the freedom of all Oklahomans, of all Americans. And it has taken a long time, a lot of work from a lot of people. But I believe this. I don't believe that Oklahoma is represented by some of the harsh words from leaders today. I believe that Oklahomans, by and large, the large majority in fact, are good, honest, hardworking people. They believe in freedom, they believe in equality, and they believe in their fellow Oklahomans. And we embrace their love, we embrace their compassion, and we know that they will embrace us as well. So we thank all the people of the state of Oklahoma. We know that this is the right thing, and they know that as well. So thank you all. Thank you.
Bravo!
As I mentioned a moment ago, we do have clergy here with us this evening that are ready, willing, and able to perform marriages to anyone who received a license today. And with that, we're going to invite everyone to come inside to celebrate as a community one of the greatest steps in our journey toward equality ever. Congratulations to everyone.
Yo! Bravo!